What's going on, everybody? As you can see, I'm here solo. My my partner in crime, he's unfortunately a little under the weather, so he's not going to join us tonight. Hopefully, he'll jump in. He'll jump in the chat and provide us his opinions and commentary, and I'm sure funny ass comments that he might have. So I'm looking forward to that. But you guys just got me tonight for now. I caught message that my boy Steve from AM Wake Up and Slow News Day, you guys know him. He may be joining us later on or at some point tonight. But for now, it's just me. I hope everybody, let me know if you can hear. Okay, let me know in the comments. Thomas, what's going on? What's up, man? Uh, it's a quiet, it's a relatively quiet weekend. It's the weekend before Christmas. When I say quiet, at least quiet by me. I was outside on the road earlier. It was it was movement outside. Looks like people are spending a little bit of their coin to purchase gifts for their friends and loved ones. You already know how it goes. So to everybody who's on the grind, who's wrapping gifts while listening or getting ready for tomorrow or Monday, I appreciate you having us on in the background. I hope your weekend is going good so far. Media says, did I see Jimmy Dore? No, I didn't. I didn't see Jimmy Dore. I don't know who he interviewed or anything like that. I very rarely watch his content. I see a lot of the clips on Twitter, but I very rarely just go and watch his. When you working a lot, especially during the day, you can jump on and see certain things, but I listen to a lot of time. I'm listening to like shit about music. I listen to music or podcasts about hip hop, shit like that. Something else because following all the stuff that we tend to follow here and we're interested in, a lot of it is just madness and craziness, and it'll have you feeling a little bit negative. So you do need to separate yourself from some of these topics at times, or at the very least find the humor in them. For me, what did I find funny this week? There's a bunch of funny shit that happened this week online anyway. I don't know, where exactly I want to start, but I will say, I love my green. If y'all don't know what that is, but I love the um, how should we say? I love the plant that was put here for our consumption, right? Joe. For those who don't know, Joe Biden signed, I don't know what the fuck he did actually. He issued a pardon or clemency, on a federal level. And is, of course, the White House put out this announcement to catch this for black folks, let's be honest. All of their metrics, all of their data is probably saying that the White House and Democrats overall are having a little bit of an issue with black folks as it pertains to their support or would be support for them in the upcoming presidential election. They're on the internet just like everybody else. They're seeing some pockets of black people who are just beginning, well, not beginning, but they're seeing the pocket of black people grow. And rephrase that, they're seeing the numbers of black people grow who are saying like, you know what, I don't know if I'm gonna mess with the Democrats this year. They're not really for me. They on the Bulls as usual. I think more and more people are starting to see that in my day-to-day conversations in and out these stores or at work, what have you. I'm starting to hear that more and more, even offline as well. The offline and online conversations are starting to merge on some level in that regard. So he pardons people. They make a big deal about it because it's related to marijuana. Again, this is the same bullshit they pulled last year. They said, "Oh, we're gonna we're gonna let people out of jail who have marijuana possession charges." As we covered on this show last year, we said it. Okay, this is more theater. This is more show because everyone knows the federal government does not come and arrest you for simple marijuana possession. Even if you had, I don't know, a couple pounds on you, again, the federal government is not going to step in and arrest you or book you for marijuana possession. How do we know this? Last year, whenever the Biden administration made this same announcement, no one, zero, no one was released from prison. We all know, if you've been paying attention, or at least we all should know by now, that um, inmates who are locked up for marijuana crimes, 99.9% of them are going to be state convictions. So if Biden really wanted to do something to help people who are fucked up by the marijuana laws, what he would have done was direct the states, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And see, look, Marcus, as I said, I knew he was going to come in here with a comment. I see his comment. But anyway, no one was released from prison last year. Here we are in 2023. They make another announcement, and no one is going to be released from prison for this. So again, this is something that is just, they don't want people to read deeper than the headlines. They're hoping that the headlines will just, carry them over and, keep black folks. Oh, well, look, they're trying something. At least the White House is trying something, etc. But again, the White House could apply pressure to the states, or at least even give the show that they are. The fact they're not even doing that, it just shows you it's a bunch of bullshit. So unfortunately for our folks, I see Steve in the background, I'm about to bring him in. But unfortunately for our folks in the who are locked up in the state pens, they're still going to be there. They're still going to have to fight out their cases, as they have been doing for a while now. It's Steve, what's going on, man? I don't know if he's unmuted yet or if he's ready, but y'all see Steve in here. I don't have no sound on you, Steve. I don't have any sound on you. Yeah. But anyway, Streets, what's good, man? But anyway, going back to it, they're playing games. If the Democrats, and I hate talking politics a lot of the time because we know it's stupid and it's not going anywhere. I guess he'll be back. But if the Biden administration or the White House officials really wanted to, if they really wanted people's support, they would be pushing to do something about it on the federal level, right? They would look to, at the very least, put legalization, make it legal across the country, right? They would end it. They would move it from the schedule, make it legal, and treat it like alcohol. We all be done doing our own thing when we want to. But they're playing games because, as I said, there's a whole network around it that its livelihood depends on the plant being illegal, and that's where we are with it. They're not going to break that down. They're not going to do anything about it on the federal level at this point in time. They still have to work out how all of those other industries are going to make money. The lawyers got to get paid. Bail bondsmen have to get paid. Defense attorneys got to find some money. Marijuana brings in a shit ton of money, even if it's low level shit. It still brings in a lot. The volume of it is a lot. So even if you're not sending people to prison, most people with marijuana charges, even if you're not sending them to prison, you're still putting them through the system, and they're still able to be juiced for the money in their pocket. Remember, this is it is a business. It is an industry. This is what we're going to see. I just hope that your aunts and uncles, I know nobody here in the chat or people who exist in this space, I know none of you will fall for it. This one, I would say you would need to talk to your aunties, your moms, your uncles, whomever, your friends, the old lady at work who keeps telling you she's going to vote for Biden. You got to make sure that they know that they can see through the smoke and bullshit. You know what I mean? All right, Steve is up. Steve, you ready? I'm going to bring you back on.
I think we're good.
Oh, yeah, there we go. What's good, man?
What's happening? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I don't know all that
Right.
good shit. I don't know what people do. You know what I mean?
Well, I know that you, much like me and Kamala Harris, have been celebrating Kwanzaa since the 70s.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah. No, actually, it was the '60s. Just to
six,
correct you, but yeah, I get your point. From the '60s, I wasn't really big on Christmas. We didn't really do Christmas a whole lot. It was Kwanzaa. I remember all the Kwanzaa parties from the '80s. We did
wasn't,
in school, all that
didn't,
shit.
didn't the dude from like United Slaves or something like that start Kwanzaa? Like, wasn't it?
I'm going to claim ignorance, like total ignorance on the topic. I just remember when they started telling us about it. I've never bothered to actually look into it. I remember the name. I remember some of the names of the days. Do I remember the meanings? No. Have I ever celebrated it? No. As my family knows, so I'm not even going to pretend just because I'm black that I'm fully versed in Kwanzaa. I'm
We
not. You probably know more about it than I do.
I don't know which candle you light for what day. I'm pretty sure there's both Pabst Blue Ribbon and a ceremonial daishiki involved, or at least that's the way that we always. No, I'm just
Yeah,
no, man. As far as I know, it was cooked up by like some FBI payroll college communists one day, and they were like, "Fuck it, we'll run with it."
it's very. A lot of this shit happens the same way all the time, so it's kind of like you gotta just look through the bullshit. But I started off by talking about that the Biden clemency pardon shit that they were bragging about on Twitter, and you see it all across the like AP, Yahoo, all the rest of it. You can see all the headlines. And I know Steve, so I'm not going to treat you like somebody who doesn't know. On the federal level, nobody's getting out of jail because the feds don't care if you're just holding it. You
Hmm.
understand? So it's it's kind of weird that they still do this stuff. Well, not weird. It just goes to show that they know that a certain segment of the population are still very much plugged into the matrix and have no interest in separating themselves from the matrix.
We've gone from everybody has their own newspaper. Right. So everybody's only like is formed as the median average of their bubble newspaper to
Mm.
only X amount of Americans read anything but the sports or the funnies. You know what I mean? Most Americans won't go to page 26, right? We went from that to now like half of Americans won't read past the headlines. Then it jumped up to 60%, then 70%. Last time I saw anything, it was like 8 to 9 out of 10 won't read or scroll past a headline. They'll just catch some of a headline and be like, I'm mad
Mhm.
or yay, my team. And that's
Yep.
it. And it's all right back to almost right back to refined to everybody has their own particular bubble that they get their news from. And so they're only, reacting to the median average of either the intelligence or the agenda of any, their particular news outlet at I only read 8/10 of the headline 8 out of 10 times.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's one thing. Look, they had Biden on the weed shit today. They tried to promote it as some like, hey, look, we're hippies now, and we're okay with you guys, smoking the reefer, right? And then you have Kamala out there talking about abortions. So again, it's like, you can see their strategy is the same strategy they've been using for the longest time. eh, Given how ineffective it has been over the course of the last, let's just say 2 to 3 years, right? They are doubling down on it.
Hmm.
And it's weird that they would continue to do that. I mean, I expect them to be a little bit more savvy or more, shall we say, a little bit with the times as it comes to like their propaganda and shit like that. But they're still operating, look like they're using a playbook from like 1990.
Well, so there's a I mean, there's still wrapped up in the consultant sphere. Everything that
Got it.
they're doing and almost everybody involved is operating from a mindset of, 1990s to Obama election year consultancy.
Mm,
And so when they're stuck with that and they're stuck paying for it,
mm-hmm,
they've got to try to make fucking chicken catch story out of dog shit. And the other side to that is they know they can't run Joe Biden in the 2024 general election. They know that. But they've got to go out there, put the freaking mask on, say the dumb, stupid, totally out of date, doesn't connect with anybody, not even their paid surrogates. You hear Nancy Pelosi? They were like, is Kamala the right choice for vice president going into the second term, given her numbers? And Pelosi goes, well, that's what Joe thinks. And like, that was all she had to say about it. The vote of confidence is overwhelming. It is. So they've got to, but they've at least got to go out there and peddle that BS for another several months before they can switch him out with, I don't, Gavin Newsom or The Rock or whoever else, whoever they convince to run.
Vegas. Vegas. That should be their hottest bet right now. It should be really like who is going to replace Biden. That should be the that should be it, because I mean, I don't know how much longer that they can control him because he's kind of like a dog, right? If you leave him off the leash, he may run away. But the thing is, if you take him off the leash, he may just sit there. He may not even move. You understand? Like most times you're worried about the dog running away. In this case, this dog will just lay there and probably go to sleep in front of us. So
I mean, look, there's a bunch of different ways that it can go. And if you believe half of the stuff that you hear about, the White House late at night with a very confused, sometimes often angry, naked Joe Biden wandering the corridors, screaming at people and kicking dogs and shit like that. It's like, man, you know, these are people that are used to getting sued, who know what they're allowed to say and what they're not allowed to say and to what
mhm.
degree, and know that making a claim like that might land them in a courtroom to where they could be like, let's have discovery and find out in front of the whole class if I'm lying.
Yeah.
It,
It's I try not to pay attention too much to like DC and all that other shit. I try to just pay attention to certain things and certain statements. But whenever I do like catch a CNN or NBC or Fox, or if I'm at someone's house and somebody has it on the TV or in the you go into a store, they have it on, you get to hear some things. And if you're in there for a few minutes and you get to hear exactly what they're talking about, it's mind numbing, like for real. It's really mind numbing, and there's real. And once you've graduated to the levels that we're on, or in this space that we're at, um, hearing that stuff just becomes. It's like, yo, y'all really watching that shit? It's kind of like watching the when you would hit channel 0 on the TV and the snow comes and the loud static. That's what it sounds like to me. Just loud static. It's not saying anything. It's that want shit.
I
And I
don't.
don't know.
Go ahead, finish it. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. I guess the main issue is getting our parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles off that shit because those are the only people I know who still pretty much watch or listen to that. Is people in their probably 60s, well, maybe like mid 50s and up.
But it's that matters a lot less than it does the people who have fallen into the like mainstream alternative media trap.
Oh
to
yeah,
where,
that's
like,
another.
I mean, because these are the people who actually think that, if they just wait it out and get enough MAGA people in, that the second coming will go ahead and lead them to the promised land. Is the people that think it's going to be AOC's turn in a couple of years,
Oh,
or
yeah.
whoever else has got, whoever else. I mean, not that that wouldn't be hysterical,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
there's the people that are watching Crystal Ball and Sagar and believe that what they're saying is the truth, or like watching, you
Yeah.
know, watching Ruben or Crowder or any of those guys and being like, oh, well, this is the media.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a fact. There is another. So our generation is falling. They're too falling into certain traps, right? And they're, well, maybe not traps, but they're falling into certain bubbles as
No, I
well
mean, that's
too.
a good way to put it.
Because you see things, you hear things, and I don't know how cool you are, but like for me, that I'll use an example. I'll say his name. That Dom Luker character, Luke Ray. I don't know his name,
Mm.
but him. If you cool with him, yo, it is what it is. I don't know, dude, but yo, he's whack as fuck to
Do
me.
you
You
know
know what
what
I'm saying?
lucre? Do you know what lucre means? Do you know
Oh
what the
shit.
lucre is? It's
No.
literally ill-gotten gains.
Oh
That's what
shit. Oh,
lucre
so that.
means.
Oh, that's
That's who
perfect.
that
So,
dude is. He's serving up the fucking lucre for the lucre. That dude, you couldn't be a more obvious plant if you showed
yeah.
up in a terracotta pot in motherfucking dirt every single day. Jesus Christ, the people who fucking just lap up that dude's fucking nonsense.
Yo. Uh, it's look. First of all of it is old. So let's just start there. All of it is old. All of it is like shit from Pizzagate, from however many years ago that was. It's the random, the Michelle is a man shit. Still showing old videos of what looked like to be the third leg popping out the dress. It's
Look,
all
I
this
like a good
overheard.
joke as much as the next guy, man. I mean,
Me
but
too. I don't mind a joke, but it's like he's posting this stuff. Look, if he's trolling, then maybe I'm the idiot here. So
no, dude, that
very well.
guy's a fucking narrative manager. That guy's
Yeah.
because
Okay.
you mentioned Pizzagate. Look, it was right when him and a couple of those other big accounts that nobody knew who the fuck they were until Elon had Twitter, and then all of a sudden they've got blue
Yeah.
checks and they're in everybody's feed, no matter whether or not you want them to be. Him and fucking Mario Narwhal and AJX and a couple of those other fucking clowns,
Yes.
dude, in your nobody followed those guys. They just showed up like fucking Beastie Boys licensed to ill did in white kids' fucking mailboxes in the suburbs in the mid 80s. You
Yo,
didn't order it. You, it was just
it was
there.
just there. Yeah.
But he tells you who he is. He's fucking the lucre, dude. That's the definition of it, is fucking ill-gotten gains. Like, it's crazy.
That's why that makes sense because I see this guy like so we'll get into the Trump shit in a second, but after Trump, the shit with Colorado, he's on Twitter with his with his joint in his hand, like, oh my god, we're gonna fight back now, and then he fights back by posting pictures of Hunter Biden. I'm like, okay, this dude is a fucking clown all the way through. You know, and also I wanted to say too, not only is he a clown, but his audience, again, I understand why, if he is trolling, I understand why he would choose that
Not
particular
trolling.
audience. Yeah. But I'm just saying, let's just say if he was, I understand why he would choose that audience because they have more money than the liberals and they are willing to contribute more dollars to the cause as long as you stay on the Obama, Michelle's a man. Tom Hanks is about a stunt double. He's dead somewhere. What
Right,
else?
right. All the cute
Uh,
shit.
All if you stay on that, they will go ahead and just contribute coin after coin after coin after coin. So I get it, man. You know, if that's the case, he's making money. But those people are really, and ironically, they think they're the sharpest ones around, and they really are like they're sheep just the same.
I mean, it really is the recycled Q shit. They need to get all of those people fired back up right before the election again. Trump's getting thrown off of ballots. Can you think of anything that's more WWE post 9/11 when they needed to get people's mind off of the tragedies, so they had a bunch of crazy character arcs and stuff like that. So that's now somebody's going to, somebody's disappeared, kidnapped, going to jail, this, that, or the other. They're getting pushed out, and it's up to the fans to
Hmm.
convince mean old Vince McMahon to let him back into the Royal Rumble or you know what I mean? So that's exactly what's going on right now, and people are falling for it, hook, line, and fucking fentanyl dip sinker.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because obviously another one of our topics is the Colorado ruling. What was it earlier? I mean, last week sometime, or maybe earlier this week. Can't remember. Um, but as you know, and most people in the chat probably know, the Colorado State Supreme Court ruled that Trump is an insurrectionist as because he is an insurrectionist. He led an insurrection in DC, like whatever date that was, January 5th or 4th or whatever date that was, right? And that because he was the leader of this movement, that he should be barred from running for president, and they removed him from the ballot in Colorado. Well, there's two things at play here. One, it's still holding up the January 6th bullshit narrative that the media has been pushing from that particular day, right? Look, this thing is still real. We need to be aware of it, blah, blah, blah. So it's doing that. Two, it's making it look like, oh, look, the government or good people in the government are fighting Trump, at least from one side of the spectrum, right? Oh, look, at least somebody somewhere is acting like the mature adults in the room and getting Trump out of here. I don't know why those people don't think that the Supreme Court, where this is going to end up, is going to ban Trump from running. They're not going to do that. There's no reason why. Um, so it's kind of weird that they actually even did this. Why do you
Well,
think they?
okay. So they've got guy with obvious dementia who, I mean, comedians left and right are the fucking gloves are off with this dude. Like they're fucking, and it's not just the major freaking media outlets are talking about the Joe's not looking great. Man, there's some people saying some things about Joe in
Mhm.
mainstream publications. You can't hide the fact that Pop Pop's got got some memory problems, and every time they let Pop Pop out there to go talk to people, everybody's got their fingers crossed. Like, is he gonna go ape shit and like say some horrifically like rapey, misogynistic shit? Is he gonna say some wildly racist shit? Is he gonna like completely disparage an entire group of Asians just by completely botching a name? Is he gonna say that he went to Hong Kong Fooey? What's he gonna do? Nobody
Yo,
fucking knows. They don't
he's
know
gonna call on he's gonna call on dead people in the crowd.
because he has.
That's
That's why
that's
he's
what
got
I'm
the fucking. They told me who I'm allowed to talk to today, so let's get through this shit. Everybody, okay. Uh,
saying. And
lady
he
there.
said, yo, he literally said, yo, I love hip hop. My favorite artist is Tupac. Yo, Pop, come on stage, come talk to these people, right? That's what he did. And when because people aren't aware, they don't stay up to date with
You
shit,
don't think
and
that was an
also
admission
because
that Tupac's really alive, Chris? Come on, man. That's
yeah, I know.
another
And
thing they
you know
gotta
what's
worry
funny? You
about with
mentioned
Joe.
me.
He's gonna spill state secrets. He done told everybody Tupac was alive. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's Joe." Pac's in the crowd going,
Yo, chill, son. Don't blow my spot. But it's just amazing. Oh, also too, the other part is because he's a Democrat and because Trump TDS exists so bad. The usual like Bill Maher's Saturday Night Live crew and the rest of the alphabet ABC, NBC, the rest of them, all of their funny guys have spared Biden this whole entire time, and he has more material for a comedian than even Trump himself. And
so
Trump
they
is comedy gold.
and they'll always double down on Donald Trump as an existential threat to America. He's a fascist. We're insurrection. Have you seen the Jim Brewer clip where I should pull that up, dude? It's like I mean, it perfectly illustrates what we're talking about. But there are a lot of people that are taking shots at Biden, at least in comedy clubs and stuff like that. Like regular people know that any day now, somebody's gonna get a phone call and that Pop Pop is gonna be naked in the freezer aisle. Somebody freaking he found the keys again. He's out. You gotta take away that man license. He's not
He's
doing
gonna put
well.
the helmet on. He's gonna put his motorcycle helmet on backwards and
Yeah.
attempt to get on his bike. Right? That's what he's gonna do,
Yeah.
and it's quite obvious. Look, here's the other part. The media is pretending, and I don't know why they still are pretending. Trump is the best thing that could happen for these networks. Let's just keep it a buck. He is the best thing out there for them. So I think this is all kind of like not kind of. This is all. It's all a ruse for the sheep. It's a show for the sheep because deep down, these executives, do you know they're like, I can't wait till he comes back. You
Oh,
know how
and
much
he
ad
already
money they charge?
he already told everybody a couple of months ago, Gavin Newsom, I mean, he's a friend of the family. He's a great guy. Would love to run against him.
Hmm.
So Supreme Court, sometime in the summer rules. Okay, look, guys, you can't do that. He wasn't even convicted of anything when you threw him off the ballot. That's not gonna.
Yep,
Come on, come
exactly.
on, dumbass.
Exactly.
And so then what happens is the Democratic National Convention. Meanwhile, Trump is getting indictment after indictment and charge after charge dismissed because all the fucking January 6 tapes have been coming out lately. Everybody can see that it was definitely not the way that it was presented in the media.
It was a
And
guided tour.
they almost held dude's hand. They almost held his hand.
They
And then
walked
he
him to, they opened doors. Like, here you go, sir. Like, hey, sir, Mr. Poinkinen, I know you are a valued member. You're one of the top favored clients. Please come with us through here. I've been told to give you the VIP treatment. We're going to give you access to places that no one else gets access to, but you will get them. That's basically how
That
they
is
treated
correct.
these
That is
guys.
correct. I am a VIP. If I wasn't, would I be wearing these horns? I
Yo, they really went in, and you can. It's so obvious. It's so obvious, and but yes, some people still like. Oh, I'm going to Christmas dinner tomorrow. There's going to be quite a few liberals and Democrats there. I'm just going to say to them, like, I see what Colorado's doing, but blah blah. your January 6th story is now holding up, and they're gonna inevitably say to me that you don't think it was insurrection. I can't talk to you anymore, Chris.
You should pull this up real quick.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be more perfectly in tune with what's about to happen.
What's going on? What is no. No, what I mean is, what is going on? Right? Like, it's past if you're divided politically. Even, you have to admit, even if you're like, I don't care as long as it's not you know who. Yeah. Like, that was like a demonic, like the devil came out and just whoever, like, we're gonna make people hate Donald Trump. Hate! Get him! I hate Donald Trump! White supremacist! Insurrectionist! They lynch people! Even... I'm not gonna blame you because I saw the news channels. I saw them saying, he's racist, he's sexist. You would just wake up to pee in the middle of the night. He hates Mexicans, and he says they're rapists, and he hates black people, and he... They had, remember the Women's March? We're gonna march! I have a vagina! Oh, they knew what a woman was then.
Got him.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. That was. We looked at the replay. It was good.
It's fascinating how your common sense disappears. I hate. Even if you hate that human being, and because you hate, you're accepting. Come on, man. Come on. Listen, man, if this was like part of your family, there's no way you would allow this to happen. There's no way.
Know it.
I'm letting my Uncle Lenny just like, don't let him speak. Don't think he's on the stage. Just show him where the podium is, please. Like, is someone emotionally attached to that? They're bringing his kid out. He's on crack, It's not like you want him to be on crack. No, he's on crack. Think about it. This is some drug lord stuff. Think about it. He got caught bribing a crackhead. If you don't give me money, you can't talk to my father. Where's that Asian whore? How much?
Bro.
Yo.
As long as he's not him.
Yo. It's
blind emotions.
Yo, I mean, that was pretty good. And you know, it really is like this. I mean, everything about this White House is been comedy hour. And because we live in an era where you can't even be funny for real, we've missed out on all these jokes. Can you imagine if this was 1990 or 92 or 96? All the comedians, Def Comedy Jam, yo, they would have had a field day. Imagine all the In Living Color episodes
Dude,
about this shit.
there would have been a ranking of black presidents, and Bill Clinton would have got kicked down to second place because of this family. Do you
Yo,
know what I mean? And
yes.
Obama would still be third.
Correct. You know, the way that they did it, because, you know, he smoked weed, got ahead and played the sax. He was black, right? So imagine being able to be like, oh, yeah, word? Oh, you think you you think you black? Beep this. I got a
Motherfucker.
crackhead for a son.
And he's got so many illegitimate children that we didn't even
Yo,
recognize grandbaby number 5 until like 10 minutes ago.
correct. They would be like, yo, he got mad baby mamas. They would, yo, it would be a fucking mess. He like hoes. I mean,
Joe, fucking, he's married to Hunter's babysitter that he met when she was 16. She's at
yo,
Biden's house on Joe's lap.
that's what I'm saying. The jokes would be flying in a different era, but because we are where we are and TDS had such an effect on the people, we can't even get these jokes off.
So, okay, but the number one late night comedy talk show on the cable news is Gutfeld on Fox,
Okay.
and they are doing
Okay.
those jokes. They're
They are, of
absolutely
course.
doing those jokes. So, the late night comedy show that people watch most, not the Daily Show, it's not Colbert, it's not any of those fucking idiots, it's the idiots on Fox. And they're doing
Yes.
they, so I mean, at least to that degree, to that limited audience, they're doing those
Yeah.
jokes. But more importantly, they're doing them on they're doing them on the internet, and that's what everybody's watching. Have you
Hmm.
seen any of the Kyle Dunnigan space boat thing where it's Joe Biden as
No.
the Star Trek captain? And
Oh
it's Kyle
shit. No.
Dunnigan with the face swap shit, bro.
No, I haven't.
On your own time,
Okay.
dude. It's like 20 minutes of this shit too. It's fucking
Okay.
crazy. But I mean, it's fun. It's for him and Metzger wrote it, and it's just that's what everybody thinks of this clown, and nobody's got any respect for Kamala Harris. She's
No.
shit. If you
She,
like pulled the string back on a doll, but the doll was programmed by a vengeful Albanian who didn't really quite grasp the English language, but knew enough to make the doll sound retarded, that's Kamala Harris.
Well, Streets. Look, one of our commenters, Streets, even asked it. Right. He says, "Do we remember seeing Biden doing a roast dinner?" I'm assuming that's the
Oh, the
correspondence
correspondence
dinner, right?
dinner? They
Yeah. Yeah.
stopped
Yeah.
doing it at COVID, right? Because
Correct.
COVID?
So yeah, because of COVID. But you notice they won't even roast him again. The amount of material from Biden is like finding a fucking cobalt mine for Elon Musk, right? We cool who we want, right? That's what it would be in terms of material from from this administration, from the trans people who stealing luggage to Kamala listening to Snoop and Pop before they came out, or Dr. Dre, whatever she said. You know, just all of it. It's pure comedy, and it's unfortunate that where the times we live in wouldn't allow the comics to do it. I mean, even Dave Chappelle has to tiptoe around certain things.
Shane Gillis doesn't. He's out there being like, dude, that guy's a Roomba. Have you seen him?
Mm.
He's like Joe Biden's like a Roomba. He just as soon as he stops talking, he just sort of
Yes.
around the
Oh,
fucking play. Yeah, they're talking about his dog biting everybody. They're talking about him like actually attacking the dog, talking about the cocaine, talking about. I mean, everybody everybody knows that Hunter Biden is not just a crackhead, but is a crackhead that has so far gotten away with bribing all kinds of Ukrainian officials, all kinds of Chinese officials. That there's been illegal bank accounts, and Joe Biden's getting kickbacks. They really they like it's not just the shit that they're doing is gangster shit. The shit that they're doing is like mobbed up, but white trash as fuck too, man. And they're from fucking Delaware. They're a bunch of swamp Yankees. Like Joe Biden's gonna be out there in floral shorts with his fucking little pedo beer gut poking out. They really are. They're trash as fuck, dude. And that's
It really
good
is.
family.
They no, I'm just saying, like you said, they're like on the in terms of like ranking criminals. You know, you would see how like the mafia, they would always be sharp and on point and shit like that. These people are showing up to like the nice restaurants and in like fucking overalls and shit like that, sounding and looking
They're the
dumb as
fucking
hell.
family in Christmas Vacation that pulls up in the RV. That's the Bidens. They're
Yeah,
Randy Quaid in Christmas Vacation, and Joe Biden's out there in the fucking bathrobe with a cigarette, just pouring the fucking RV shit directly into the sewer.
yo, it's for those of us who know, we're just watching it and we're just kind of like, damn, this is kind of crazy that despite Trump and all of the shit that was there, then you're telling us, oh, here's a family that's better. It's like, yo, this is
I mean,
mad.
just imagine, and I'm sure we've all talked about this to death, but imagine if even any other, let alone Eric Don Jr. or Ivanka, was up to even 10% of the shit that Hunter
Oh yeah.
Biden has done.
Hmm.
I mean,
We
considering
would.
that he did some of that shit with fucking Malia Obama, you know.
That's what I'm saying. We're hearing about all this stuff, and it's just radio silence from the people who normally have a lot to say. That is telling in itself. That suggests that more than likely that someone's pockets are going to be affected by getting jokes off or not getting jokes off. So, which is a lot of the reason why we're seeing people be they're acting as if they are blind and deaf
If
and
somebody
dumb.
in the chat hasn't already said it, let me kick my fucking self for not saying it out loud already, because we've been talking about it on the show in a different context for weeks. But if you're in that industry and you're trying to get one of those sweet Netflix specials, who you gotta go through? Netflix.
Aren't they on the board now?
Yeah, they just produced that fucking End of the World movie or whatever.
Oh yeah. They're on the board, I believe. I think that was part of their deal too. So now, if you
For
want to
years
say
now,
certain,
they've been a part of the board. Before that was announced right at the same time that they got the Martha's Vineyard place.
oh yeah, that's right. It was all yeah. They had a couple of announcements around that time, but yeah, it's not surprising that they, of all people, got their claws into Netflix, because clearly Netflix is a very popular property, and if you're able to, get some prime real estate in that on that platform, it's well worth it, right? Because you can get things away that you don't want on the platform, and you can bring things in on the platform that you want. And real quick, too, speaking of which, I can't. I see somebody in the comments mentioned the murdered chef. I don't know too much about that situation. Not that I really want to delve into that, but It did make me think of the Seth Rich thing, which I meant to tell Marcus to put in the show notes, but I forgot. Is this stuff about Seth Rich and Assange's team confirming it was him, the leaker? Was that legitimate, or was that just
Let's take a look at the clip. I'll pull it up real quick. It's on
Yeah.
give me a second and I'll
Hmm.
have it. It's only like 30 seconds too, and then whoever
Yeah,
show
it's
it
a
is
short one.
whoever show it is says we're gonna talk about it tomorrow, but I
Okay.
have no idea uh if that in fact happened, and I will probably spend a little bit of time tonight or tomorrow trying to chase it down. Um, but yeah, let's
So
see what.
real quick before you play it for the people who didn't see this. So one of the women on the right here is connected with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, and she's confirming that the information that WikiLeaks had put out around that time was provided to them. All the shit about the DNC doing the shit, with Hillary's campaign, et cetera, et cetera. All that information came from Seth Rich, who we know was a staffer at the DNC. We know he died. Where did he die? In DC or somewhere in Maryland?
Yeah, in DC, a couple of blocks away from his apartment.
Yeah.
I've been to the exact location. We had a little candlelight thing there once upon a time.
Okay. But as everybody knows, it was a robbery, and they took not his watch, not his wallet, not his phone, but it was a robbery nonetheless. I mean, clearly they took his life, but the way that they tried to make the crime seem was that it was a robbery gone wrong. To any of, especially those of us from the hood, if they robbing you and they clap you, they're gonna dig your pockets before they run out, before they
Couple of
run
other
away.
points of note and interest on that. Not one or half a dozen or a baker's dozen, but more than 40 cameras for every possible route to take Seth Rich from that location to not the closest hospital, but DC Metro General Hospital, which was
Mhm.
much, much, much further away, have no footage whatsoever of that even occurring. There, the mayor showed up immediately. Debbie Wasserman Schultz showed up immediately. What's her name? Who got she got busted. Donna Brazil giving
Yeah.
questions to Hillary Clinton. She was there at
Mhm.
DC Metro General before the ambulance carrying Seth Rich got there. It was immediately locked down. There's no
Mhm.
video whatsoever of his murder occurring or the robbery
And
occurring.
Steve,
There's
since you say you went there real quick, that's a particularly nice area of DC, right?
It's not that it was particularly nice, but it wasn't particularly shitty. It was mid gentrification when Seth Rich got murdered. And
Okay.
there was, look, man, there's a bodega right on the corner. Okay.
Got
And
it.
it's a T intersection. So all of the windows of the bodega face out onto the corner where Seth Rich got shot. There are a number of, and this is in an era where you had door cameras anyway. It was only 2015. It wasn't like it was forever ago, but there are enough houses on there that are outfitted with old camera equipment. The bodega has cameras pointing out in fucking 15 different directions because it's the T intersection. So it's going all this way. It should have at least 3 to 5 different angles of
Mhm.
that whole fucking scene, bro. It's
Mhm.
lit up at least at the intersection, and then there's a traffic light at the end of the block. It's not like do you see what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like he just got caught slipping, walking, taking a little shortcut somewhere and it got
Correct.
weird because that could
You
happen in DC and that's what they were trying to sell.
Exactly that. That very well can happen in DC. And I say that, I ask you that for that description for this specific reason. Donna Brazil was on TV like, oh, I sent him to a bad part of town and this is what happened. And I was like, bitch, you better stop. Like, yo, stop playing with people. Because when you start looking around, you're like, yeah, this is not the part of Chocolate City you need to be concerned about, man.
No, man. No, 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 no. And look, dude, I've been around DC enough for long enough. If you go 12, 16 blocks a little bit further up, it's a bad neighborhood. But I mean, really, dude, how many fucking lifetimes and time zones, right, is 16 blocks if it's just hood to hood to gentrified neighborhood to fucking, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
And again, if it was a And again, if it was a robbery, like we were told, there would be something of value reported. Something of value would have been reported missing off his person, which the items they told us that he still had on him, unless he had a shit ton of cash on him that we didn't know about, you know, it's very weird. And I doubt the
now.
DNC staff. I doubt the DNC staffer was walking around with 50 stacks in his like skinny jeans.
Well, let's take it a little bit further too, because what did you say was the only thing that was stolen from Seth Rich?
His life.
Well, and
Oh, I can't think of anything else.
the
Was it his phone?
laptop. You
Oh,
see,
laptop. Oh,
you
yes.
said it. It was his laptop, and
Yeah.
so for years and years and years, we were told the laptop doesn't exist.
Yep.
It was taken. It was a robbery. There's no such thing as Seth Rich laptop. And there is a dude, named, I don't want to act like he's not here anymore because it's, that kind of story. There is a guy named Ty Clevenger. He's a lawyer. I think he's retired now, but he still does Freedom of Information Act requests and lawsuits. This
Request.
dude basically single-handedly sued, did FOIA lawsuits, and after 4 years, finally got the FBI to admit, okay, so we do have we have Seth Rich's
The laptop.
laptop.
Yeah.
What's that? What? I'm sorry. Could you? We have Seth Rich's laptop. We've had it the whole. We've had it the whole time, and fucking it barely got a whisper, But so now
I swear, you know what? If I guess for the things that we want to know about or the things that we deem important, I guess we have to like sex it up every time. You just have to throw something sex related into the story to make people like click on it. So you have to say like, yo, they found like Biden DNA on Seth Rich laptop from when he was playing with himself in somewhere, and then it would make people click the story. Because other than that, if it's not sex related or it ain't got some crazy shit with it, these stories that you probably should be paying attention to, they just go either right under the radar or they just pass by at light speed and people don't even remember or recognize what it is that just passed right by them.
was Chelsea Clinton involved in a secret throuple with murdered DNC staffer Seth Rich? Find out on next week's Political Matrix.
You see? And then everybody will tune in. I'm telling you, you have to do it, especially these days. I mean, look, you can't. We went from not hearing about Puff to now we hear about Puff Daddy like every day.
Well, look, man, it's. I mean, how long though have? Okay, in the first place, how long have like you and Marcus had these conversations over the years? I know how long Marcus and I have had these conversations over the years. It's not like I keep trying to tell people, like, eventually reality rubs up against whatever it is you're trying to sell.
Yes,
And
it
right
does.
now look, if you don't think that all of this disclosure shit is part of a bigger demoralization, great reset fucking agenda, I'm sorry, but it's all fucking connected because every institution and every hero and every idol is just getting flamed right now. And then
Everything.
just like the R.A. the Rugged Man album, all my heroes are dead.
Yo, this shit is, it's amazing, to live in this time and to see all of the things that, we're witnessing. It's, it's like, yo, they really not trying to hide shit, but the things that they are trying to hide, they're doing a bad job of it. It's like they're using sheer, they're using like sheer shirts to hide that they got their nipples pierced. And it's like, yo, I can see your shit. Like, you should have put on like a black shirt or something like that. Like, I can see,
Easy,
dog.
Governor Cuomo. Easy.
Like,
Slow
yo,
down.
I don't know. Yeah, man, it's just fucking. It's insulting. It's entertaining. It is funny all at the same time. So we live in a cartoon that she just put in the chat. That's very apt and very fitting because this shit does feel like some Warner Brothers Looney Tunes type of shit we're living in.
Shelly over on the Rockvid earlier, we were talking about Hunter Biden and that family and shit. She said Hunter did have hoes in different area codes. So it tracks.
And that wasn't ludicrous.
I don't have the rim shot on the soundboard. Yeah, I don't. Damn it.
That wasn't ludicrous. That's just a fact.
Hi-yo.
Yo, my man was getting more ass than anything. But anyway, look, before we get too far into that, I please play the clip that you got here. This is
For
about
sure.
before we get
So,
too far.
to bring it back to the Seth Rich thing, is for years it was basically an open secret for a decent chunk of the independent media, definitely the intelligence community, most politicians, and enough mainstream media figures to bury it and call it a conspiracy theory. That Seth Rich was the individual who, in all likelihood, along with his brother Aaron, and that's a totally different story, and we may not get into that tonight, were the people who downloaded this information, all of the DNC servers, these emails off of the servers physically onto drives. And then those servers the drives found their way to the Ecuadorian embassy, where they were then published by WikiLeaks. The chain of custody goes a little something like Seth Rich, deceased, to attorney and frequent Democracy Now! Guest Michael Ratner, deceased, to Julian Assange in the Guantanamo Bay of the United Kingdom for the last almost 5 years. Julian Assange on somebody's show did a thing where he was like, somebody asked him directly, was Seth Rich the leaker? And Assange goes,
Yeah.
it's not our policy to disclose anyone who provides any information to us. That's not something that we do.
Mm-hmm. And but then what else did he say? He's like, maybe somebody should look into the murder of a young DNC staffer by the name of Seth Rich. I don't know.
And
So
then
it's
he
like,
put up 20 grand for information that led to the arrest of the person, that killed him, and then before they threw him under the bus, Freedom for Press Foundation bumped it up to 60 grand. And then fast forward, you're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to talk about it. It's a crazy right-wing conspiracy theory and a Russian operation to talk about it. That was one for a few years. The fucking we're dusting them all off, man. We're dusting them off. But I mean, they're all back.
Disinfo.
But yeah, so that brings us to here. With now a direct question to someone with the legal team.
Lindsay, real quick, we have 30 seconds. I know you have some information on Seth Rich. That's moving forward, getting access to that. Tell us what you know, because we're going to talk more about it in the show tomorrow.
Yeah, so I have been in touch with someone that directly work with Julian Assange, which is part of their team, and they confided in me that it was Seth Rich that leaked the DNC information, which completely contradicts the Mueller report, which said it was a Russian hacker leak. Yeah. And the murder of Seth Rich has never been solved. They tried to say that it was a robbery, but nothing on his person, as far as I'm aware, was stolen. He still had his wallet intact. So none of that made sense. It's never been solved. And now this judge is pushing back on the FBI to release all the pages that they did not release last year when he demanded it. So it should be interesting.
We can't wait to see that. We're going to talk to Ty Clevenger, who is working on this case, the lawyer working on this case tomorrow. So everyone will stick around for that. Thank you so much, Texas Lindsay. Lindsay Jones, it's good to catch up with you.
Texas Lindsay. But yeah, so I mean, it's confirmation of stuff that, again, I mean, it was a pretty open secret for a very long time now.
Yeah, it was. And, just to say, because, I was somebody who fully believed that Seth Rich was the leaker. I fully believe that he provided information to Julian Assange and WikiLeaks from obviously from the time that Julian Assange made that comment that you referred to earlier. From that point in time, I believed it. I believed that it was him, and I believed that he was killed. Even so much of this shit has happened along with COVID and everything else that even to say like, haha, I told you so, that shit don't even have any meaning anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn.
Well, we were saying the whole time that it would be really cool to be wrong about this shit. I would love to be able to come back here this time next year and be like, I fucked up. You know, it's worth losing the audience over being that wrong. It's worth losing the show over being that wrong, dude. You're not staking your reputation on this shit. You're planning your life according to it. You know what I mean? So it hits different if you're that fucking fundamentally wrong about this shit. And so far, we got a pretty good batting average.
And the thing is, like, we just swinging the bat. We're not even really trying to hit home runs. We just swinging it. And it's like, okay, there goes contact. Yo, man on first. Oh shit, he swung it again. Look, he got himself a double. It's getting on base without even trying because it's so obvious the bullshit that they put in front of us. And speaking of bullshit, I want to go into like reparations because that's always a fun, fact-filled, emotionally, how can I say?
Even keel.
It never charges. Yeah, you never get emotionally charged over reparations, right?
Nice little mellow conversation that you can have.
Correct. Yeah. So I don't know if you know, but everybody, or if anybody in the chat knows, New York, the state of New York, under Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, signed some legislation pertaining to reparations. Okay, so does anybody think that this is going to, that whatever she signed into law, do you think it's going to result in money for any of the affected population? If you think somebody's going to get a check for this, please like raise your hand in the chat or something.
So okay, so we know how it's gonna work though. We know how it's gonna work. It's gonna be, you've got 850 pages of paperwork that you got to fill out with all kinds of documents that you have to submit, that after probably a couple of rounds of rejection, you'll eventually get a prepaid debit card that will already have the taxes taken out of whatever it is we say you're gonna get out of this. And if you have any outstanding debt, well, it'll just go towards paying that down, until that's cleared out, by which time it'll roll over into the central bank digital currency that you'll have to give up your, entire existence for, because you won't actually be able to access that money. It'll just be connected to a wallet that will let you know what you're allowed to spend, when you're allowed to spend it, based on your carbon footprint and social credit score. Thanks though for making sure that you fought for reparations.
So this, this is it's very interesting, because this creates a lot of just the mention of reparations creates mini CBOs all over the country, right? Mini CBOs, Congressional Budgeting Office, right? All over, because then everyone starts becoming an accountant, and they want to start then talking about debt, which you don't ever hear them debt when they're screaming about other things, right? Oh, the cost. Then the other thing is like, well, I didn't own slaves. Okay. And then even from the black folks themselves, they would tell me I'm a stupid tether and I need to shut the fuck up, because, even though I'm born here, my parents weren't born here. So they would tell me to shut the fuck up, and I have no right to speak on this. That's from the FBA crowd and the ADOS crowd. That's probably what they would say to me. I really don't give a fuck. But
you know what you get when you combine both of those acronyms together, right? Though it's FBI.
Oh shit, that's funny. It's funny, but also too, and just to lay it out, to make it very clear what Kathy Hochul signed into law. She signed into law a commission. She signed into law the creation of a commission to study the effects of slavery on enslaved Africans in the state of New York. So they did it again. They don't take their black constituent.
How fucked up is it gonna be when the commission comes back and they're like, okay, guys, so we looked into it and it turned out that the Iroquois Nation were the largest slaveholders in New York State at the time. So we're not gonna do anything. Sorry.
And if you read it, if you just read the shit, it accurately depicts it accurately shows the horrors of slavery in New York, right? New York had more slaves than anywhere else outside of Charleston, South Carolina. There was more slaves in Charleston. New York was number 2 on that list. They had a whole bunch of stupid laws that if they even did own any property, it could not be bequeathed to any family members, children, what have you. Africans can only congregate in small numbers in certain places for a limited amount of time. So it is as fucked up as in the text of the, document that she signed.
Henry Hudson will follow him through the marketplace, or you only go in 2 at a time. Just at your little backpack counter.
It lists out all this stuff, and then it said, well, we're establishing the commission to figure out what have the long lasting effects been on the descent. And it's just like, you need a commission for that. But didn't you just tell us? Weren't you just putting black squares on your Instagram accounts like 2 years ago, telling us Black Lives Matter and putting George Floyd's face everywhere, telling us that Black Lives Matter and that the
Well, they
history
can't
for
talk
black
about
people in America
that.
is so bad, and now you need to form a commission to decide if you're going to decide to have another commission,
I gotta tell you,
because it's
man.
just going to be it's just going to lead to another commission that's going to say, well, we have to read the findings of the prior commission and then
When
determine what's the best course forward.
when they're ready to pull the trigger on for real hyperinflation or for real guaranteed foot in the door to CBDC, that's when you'll get at the federal level, I mean, 400 billion or more issued over a period of a handful of years,
Mhm.
because that's exactly what would happen. The
Yeah.
the reality of the matter is what adjusted for 2010 dollars, estimated cost of reparation for real, not for real, was somewhere between for real somewhere between 400 billion at the conservative estimate to 4.3 4.4 trillion at
Mhm.
the high end.
And as far as
So
I'm concerned, as far as I'm concerned, it's incalculable. You cannot count. You cannot count it. You cannot put it into an accurate dollar amount if we
not
try,
without
right?
getting into the oppression or trauma Olympics, and not without having conversations again about like a whole bunch of Indian tribes, not without white women realizing that they had like 58% slave ownership across the board.
Mhm.
Like there's a bunch of weird, there's the whatever handful. You can't have a conversation about the transatlantic slave trade without talking about Arabs. You can't have a conversation about the transatlantic slave trade without talking about a number of different black tribes that were also fucking more than willing to sell them. You can't talk about slavery in general without bringing up Korea. I had a fucking 1,500 year unbroken string of slavery,
And
but for some reason
and
gets a
that there was and that Slav is a European word, and there were white slaves, and it just be like, yo, can you just limit? Are you able to limit your thought process to America, just to what you call America, right? Can you limit your process? Can you limit your scope to just that, right? Are you able? Are you smart enough and mentally fit enough to do that? Of course
well,
they
and
are. They make
then
the choice not to.
you incorporate the fact that America got incorporated in the 1870s, that it became
Mhm.
a de facto corporation. So
Mhm.
who do you really, who do you go after at that point? Because it has to come from now the Federal
Mhm.
Reserve. So it's, I'm at that point, like
My thing is,
it,
here's the thing. Say the government should say, you know what? Sorry, you niggas, we ain't giving you no money. Stop complaining about it,
I
right?
feel like that happens on the regular.
Yeah, it does. But now, whenever you tell people that again, you're gonna form commissions and all this other shit, right? It's gonna give a certain amount of people hope to remain loyal to the political system, to the electoral system, because then they'll say, well, look, at least the Democrats want to look at this, they want to study it, they want to learn about it, they want to possibly do something about it. But the Republicans, they don't even want to do. So you get into the same fucking cycle. So that's why I wish they would just come out and be like, nah, niggas, you ain't getting shit, right? and it is what it is. You better be quiet before we do you like the natives who are here, right? We'll put you on that land. You can't grow shit. Watch yourselves.
The Mark
That,
Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos will build reparations land, and they will offer you the equivalent of 40 acres and a mule on reparations land, and you can cash in your Bezos brand reparation bucks at the Amazon store for all of your 40 acres and a mule needs on reparation land.
that's what that's what could happen or should happen, right? But I just wanted to bring it up because, again, just like the other thing with the clemency with Joe Biden, Obama. I was about to call her Obamala. I don't know why. I was going to say abortion and Kamala, but whatever. Um, you had the White House announcement about the clemency regarding the marijuana. You have Kamala on tour about abortion, and then you have New York talking about reparations. Clearly, they are making a push for the election next year. Again, none of this promises any particular group anything. So
No, but
it'll
it
be
does obvious pandering. And
yes,
very, very, very right. They're trying. This is the only thing that they can really try to hit on is we started the conversation about reparations. We did
yeah,
this thing for okay, but are you had the the way that they've gone about it is that it's mostly smoke and mirrors. There's no real substance to any of it, like all of it. But again, they've got to just keep it barely together long
yeah,
enough to where it can be Gavin Newsom with the steel chair, fucking, oh my God, it's The Rock,
yeah,
with Lady Gaga. He tagged in Lady Gaga. And like, it's all of a sudden, The Rock and
yeah.
Lady Gaga are at the president
White
and
House.
vice president.
Yeah. I've had older women tell me like, "Oh, I just wish Gavin Newsom would do it. He's just so handsome." And I would just be like, "Oh, okay, that's your criteria. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it." But also the nasty part about the reparation discussion, and I'll keep it a buck, is all the white people, especially on the right, who have so much like foul shit to say, and they're trying to mask it in economic arguments. But I see through those economic arguments, they're just racist dirtbags, and they're pieces of shit as they always are. You know what I'm saying? Because again, there's no accounting when it comes to Ukraine. All these years now, well, maybe there's some now they're getting a little upset because Biden is the one pushing Ukraine. But if you just replace Ukraine with China, they would be okay with all the spending in trying to fight China because they're the evil communists, right? They all become accountants. They're all considered with money, and they're all considered with debt, and then they're all focused on what people would buy with the money they gain. They have all this fucking concern, and it's just like, I see you people for who you are, and that is why they will never make any kind of alliance, because anytime something does come up, they show their true colors. Look, Ukraine may be new in terms of the amount of money we're giving them. We've been giving Israel billions since from the beginning of time that they got there, right? From the 1917 up till now. We've been contributing to that place for the longest time. I've never heard any of these conservatives or Republicans tell their elected leaders, "Yo, you know what? I'm going to withhold my vote in terms of support. I won't contribute any money to your campaign, and we will not show up to any of your events as happy campers. We'll come there and protest if you do not stop donating money to Israel." They've never done that. And this is billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. 100 something billions of dollars since its creation, or something like that. Silencio, nada, nothing, niet. You don't hear shit. But reparation, and this is the people that say, we love America, America first. America, black, red, white, and blue, America. I stand for the pledge and all this other bullshit. So you don't feel like maybe that your country should do something financially to help out the Americans that you have wronged? Oh, no, we can't do that. So I just wanted to get that out there, that I see those pieces of shit. I hear you. And that is why your daughters will not marry men who look like you. They will probably look for other type of men. That is your punishment, bitch.
That's funny. There's as many of those in the Democratic Party, and this is something that like a lot of it's a generation, like there's just way more at that boomer level and that like upper end of Gen X level. There's too many people that grew up in the 90s. We had a period, man, where at least for like regular fucking people, it just really wasn't, race wasn't what we were concerned about. It wasn't. Everybody had fucking, or for the most part at least, had a whole bunch of different friends that were all fucking different race. Almost everybody had like a retard friend that they grew up with that is, hung out for everything. And fucking, sometimes it got brought to attention, but for the most part, it was just the thing. Like, and we didn't give a fuck because we had a lot going on. And most of the a lot that was going on was more fun than it wasn't. And it just what like it wasn't even, the whole racism thing didn't really start to get pushed on people again until right around Obama. We all hated Muslims together for a little bit. Remember that after 9/11? And like Patrice O'Neill came out and said it and was like, I feel sorry for Muslims because you're the brand new N-words. Fucking
Exactly.
nobody wanted to hear that for a minute.
No, it was after 9/11, the jokes was like you just said with Patrice O'Neill, like, we'd be in the car as a black dude. I was driving, throughout New York thinking, oh shit, I don't even have to be nervous now when I see the police. They not looking for me. Yo, that's how I was in the city at that time. They was actually, you would see them on the block. They would look at you. Oh, okay, it's just a Negro. Go ahead, man. They would even say hi. Hey, what's up?
Well, you're not embarrassed. You just carry on.
Yeah. I'm being ignorant, but
no, but you're being. It's
but it's real. That's how it was. You'd be at the airport, like, yo, I'm straight. Like, look, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get all my weed through.
No, it was bad. Yeah, it sucked for like a handful of people that couldn't figure out how to hide their drugs better. It sucked for anyway. It sucked for all of the Sikhs. I felt bad for the Sikhs. They didn't fucking do nothing to nobody, and all of a sudden
they were the ones. They were the ones in New York that all these folks was going out, like attacking all of their shit, and it proved people's ignorance, not knowing the difference between someone who is Arab, someone who's Christian, Buddhist, Sikh, and coming that this was New York, it even showed their ignorance there, because in New York you're supposed to like be aware of the certain differences between people. You know what I mean? That's one of the things we pride ourselves on, is knowing that kind of shit. And the fact that they just went after this particular group just shows that they were harboring some kind of hatred for everybody who looked like that.
I mean, it was obvious if you lived through it. It might not be it if you didn't. If you were a little kid between like, you know, like I don't know if you were born in like the late '90s or something. If you're just now 25 or something like that,
Mhm.
you didn't see it, and you know a world that is significantly more racist now than the one that me and Chris grew up in, which is crazy to say.
I
But it's
mean, yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's very weird. It's weird now. You know, we're experiencing things that I didn't think that we would still have to be talking about growing up. You know, somebody grew up in the 80s and 90s. You know what I'm saying? I think that I would have thought that certain things, because you know there was truth to what you said, right? I grew up with, we had white kids, white friends, you know, Filipino friends, Hispanic friends, you know, black friends. We had everything. We all wanted to play basketball or hang out, listen to music and shit like that. Nobody was really on some like, oh, you know, you're Irish and your family's been here. Maybe you were, you know, we didn't really, we weren't interested in that. You know, kids in New York, you know, again, you just want to be outside hanging out. So we didn't, you know, view it. We didn't view it like that. But now it's real weird now.
It
I don't
really is,
necessarily.
man. And I mean, there's we've talked about this, the how they kind of figured out that all at once fucking trauma-based mind control, the MK Ultra shit didn't really work the way that they wanted it to work. But if you slow the process down and you do it from every conceivable angle, then over the course of a generation or two, you've got a completely broken, completely divided, completely demoralized society that's mad at all of the wrong people for all of the wrong reasons, where the people at the top are totally fucking unaccountable for their behavior. So why the fuck
Should
should
I?
I be? If they, you know, and that's the, if that's the pervasive attitude, that's the direct result of generations of, you know, brain chemical altering pharmaceuticals. That's the result of a mockingbird media. That's the result of an entertainment industry that takes
Mm-hmm.
people that have talent and then they put them in a hotel party with Puff. Have you heard this shit? I know you have, man. The fucking I've been doing a radio show, internet radio show for the last few weeks on
Mm-hmm.
freeworld.fm, and I was playing a bunch of Cat Williams uh yesterday. And
Okay.
because if you listen to Cat's comedy mixed with a couple of interviews over the years on some podcasts, he tells you exactly what the fuck is going on in the entertainment industry in Hollywood and all of that shit. And
You know,
fucking
you know, Wendy Williams, you know, for as crazy as she was, Wendy Williams was telling people about Puff in the 90s. And that's why she was having issues with New York radio. I mean, she had other issues too because she was running her mouth about, you know, people who were having certain relationships. But she was saying that Puff was doing shit to Mace years ago, like in the 90s. She was alleging this. There was a lot of rumors and shit coming out about Puff and that circle for quite some time. You know, but again, it's like, oh, he made another banger. Shit, I love this song. Oh, damn, 112. I love this shit. Oh, damn, Carl Thomas. I love
well,
that
okay,
shit.
but then you have to have a conversation about culturally in the black community in the 90s. It was perfectly fine for somebody in their fucking mid to late 20s to be dating a 15 or 16-year-old girl. Or it
If
was at
you
least
know,
shit that nobody really talked about too much unless it was your cousin or your sister or something like that, and it might get a little bit weird. But culturally, No, it wasn't a big deal.
And that's the whole thing. No one really, I don't, I mean, obviously when the R. Kelly Aaliyah thing happened, it was like, yo, wait a second, you're a grown ass man, she like 14, 15 years old. And then you kind of hear about, oh, her parents were is somewhat involved and in the know, and her uncle was her manager in the know. At the time you don't know, but maybe you're just thinking, okay, maybe the parents signed off on this, as weird as it is. If the parents sign off on it, then not saying it's okay, but it's like, well, the people supposed to be guarding over this person, that's their problem, not me, right? So other than
And I'm
that,
not, I mean, I'm not
everything.
going to sit here and act like that's only a thing that happened in the black community. It happened in the white community.
Yeah,
It's
of course,
always
we know.
like,
Yeah. We're talking about like pretty much the hip hop community, but the response from the community was one like, yo, like they did on what is it, the Boondocks? Yo, this dude keep hitting people in the head with hits. Like, did you hear Ignition remix? That shit is fire. I mean, did you hear Fiesta? These are the man makes his music is fire. So we're gonna overlook.
of R. Kelly. I will
I'm
fight
telling you.
Cornell West. The
I'm just saying, like the man's the
Who
catalog
they
is
had
crazy.
cartoon Cornell West, they had cartoon Ta-Nehisi Coates, and who was the other one? Who's the other dude that they fucking used for their black intellectual in the fucking R. Kelly outside the courthouse fight?
Oh, who else was there?
Tavis Smalley or somebody like that, dude. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
maybe Tavis Smiley, yes, because he was with Cornell West for a long time.
Fucking milk toast
Yeah.
ass fucking.
Yeah, this shit is just, but there was nothing that happened. But going to that Puff shit, even the TD Jake shit that came out, the jokes, that shit was all like just a chick on her TikTok page just talking shit. None of that turned out to be revealed in him.
Not even the Kim Porter burner phone thing, none of that shit.
None of it.
That's fucking hilarious.
And I'm saying we're gonna get our jokes off because it's jokes, but at the same time, you still gotta let people know, like, hey, look, this shit is unverified. There's no paperwork. There's nothing there. We're gonna get these jokes off, but just know that the people trying to push it on you as real shit, is fake. They're lying to you. Here's the other thing I wanted people to think about as it relates to this shit. If Puff and Cassie just settled their deal, however, a couple weeks ago, don't you think
It
that
wasn't okay. Well, let's be clear though. It wasn't Puff. It was the company.
Yeah,
because she sued the company. She sued his company. She hasn't sued Puff. So the company's priority is to settle immediately, and fucking then they'll do fallout shit and damage control. So the way that like Puff's been able to spin all of this is like, look, dude, I haven't said anything. I haven't admitted anything. I haven't been charged with anything. I'm not guilty. With my company settled a fucking frivolous lawsuit out of court because that's what they do.
Yeah, but obviously settling was in his. Obviously, that was in his best. It was in his best interest to do that. But this. But we tend to run with the information before we verify it. So all I'm just reminding
because
people,
if you hear that he's a power bottom, and you've ever seen video of fucking Potter's Church Sunday morning with him in like a full-on dress? You know what I mean?
When he said when he's like swallowing, you ever been swallowed? He's like, oh,
I mean, I just happen to have that clip. I didn't know if you were gonna, and so I thought maybe it might come up, and I do, yeah.
Now, when they ask you, have you ever been like when he's like, have you ever been swallowed? Are you supposed to say yes? Like, or that's kind of
Right? Is it supposed to be a call and response thing? Because I didn't sign
yeah.
up for that, preacher. I didn't. I didn't. That wasn't on my card this
I didn't
morning.
know I was supposed to be telling you in this building whether or not I was swallowed or not. Right?
If it's not in my bulletin, I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be doing it. I'm not gonna be doing it. Let's see the volume. Yeah.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming? I would.
Why do you talk like that?
It's not a great look.
Why? And you're wearing that purple shit that look like you look like something out of like a Disney evil queen, right?
Yeah, or at least the really shady, like Grand Visor guy in the freaking Arabic court.
Something.
It's
And
like
you're running around
somebody's
this.
king is dying tonight if you have that outfit on.
Yeah, and you're running around the stage saying swallow, and the way he said, like, why you had to talk? I understand, we are very animated people when we talk. I get it. I'm like that too. But pause. But I'm no, that we're not
No,
doing
I
that.
know.
We're not. We're not doing that. And again, when I saw that, Steve, I was laughing when he was like, "Have you ever been swallowed?" It's something swallowed.
Swallow. Got the voice warble going. The
Yo,
moving by the spirit.
Steve. I mean, Streets, Mr. Streets in the comments that just be honest, that shit ain't a fucking parable. No, he was like. He was recalling in his head like those are memories
And I'm gonna
that
read to
was
you from the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel stumbled out
yeah
the bar on 17th and Montgomery, and it ran into Toothless Jimmy.
yes, that's what that shit
Preacher,
was.
that's not what it says in Ezekiel. That's not how that goes.
Yeah, at all. Marcus,
And
I
he
just got
said,
your text.
"Yea, woe unto me, Lord, that chick has a penis."
Yo, I mean, shit is. And you
I
know
would
what?
like
Look,
to read to
even though
y'all from the
nothing,
book of Cinnamon.
and let me say this, right? Even though the news that came out about him was a rumor, I want to say that whenever it does come out that he is Eddie Bishop Long Part Two, for those who don't know who Bishop Eddie Long was, I suggest you go look up Bishop Eddie Long and the things that he longed for. Right? Go look him up. I will not at all be surprised to learn that TD Jakes is. Somebody put it in the chat. Take Dick Jakes. That's what he do. Like, I won't be surprised when we learn that.
I mean, he's gonna be on Jesse Lee Peterson's podcast any day now, and then like we're gonna see outtakes of it, and they'll be kissing.
For sure. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, they go to the same men's retreat, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Look, I won't be surprised when we learn about it, and not for nothing, but TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar. Who else is there? I can't remember any of these names. All these pastors. Not for nothing. I don't care what they do. People really shouldn't care what they do in their bedrooms, but they really should care that they are fleecing the community for money. And they're able to walk around looking like extras in the Matrix, talking about swallowing on stage while you are literally on your knees praying for money.
You know who doesn't talk about any of that shit, man, is Reverend Annie Chambers. And that's because she's fucking fantastic. She calls all of these dudes disco preachers. That's her name for 'em.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Have you Marcus knows Reverend Annie. I don't know if you did. I don't know if you've been introduced to this woman or not. She's in her 80s. She was Panther growing up. Her oldest brother James was Malcolm X's lieutenant for years and years and years. She grew up calling him Minister Malcolm when she was a little kid. She's I'm not gonna say she's the only ordained minister I know that walks around with a pistol at all times, but she's one of the few that I know that carries it in her purse as opposed to somewhere. But yeah, she's rad. She's rad.
All these preachers are just getting their constituents for their money. And you would think that they know it, but again, auntie and uncle and grandma and grandpa, they've been doing it for too long. You can't fuck up their routine. You mess up that routine for them, their whole life is gonna be messed up. So they have to, they gotta keep up with it. But the one thing about this that it was interesting too is that I learned something. I never heard of the term power bottom. I didn't know what a power bottom was.
That's funny.
And then I go on Twitter and I see all this talk about a power bottom. So with that being said, Marcus provided me with some some
video links from his personal collection.
Correct. So that we can all learn. And let's see what we got here. Where is this video?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marcus,
if you have earmuffs, kids, earmuffs.
Marcus, Kate. Yes.
Is a power bottom. It's simple. So a power bottom is like a cup of Kool-Aid. Yeah. You ever had a cup of Kool-Aid? So let's say you make your Kool-Aid, right? You're not about to drink it right away, or you're just going to make sure that you probably have it at room temperature. You want to make sure it's dissolved in everything, all the sugar and stuff. So you taste it, and you be like, ooh, perfect. Now, when it cools, it's going to sweeten up some more. So you're just going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator, right? So now you got a full pitcher of Kool-Aid. Sometimes you will freeze it because you want to get it icy. But today, when you want to talk about power bottoms, you're just going to put it in the refrigerator, and then you're going to let it cool. So you go out, it's time to drink your cup of Kool-Aid. Pour it in a cup. Now, them first couple of hits, you're like, bitch, I don't put too much sugar. That's the sugar in the tank when they talk about the gay boys. So you be like, too much sugar. Damn. You know what I'm saying? So then you just let it sit down because you ain't about to go add the water to your Kool-Aid because you done spent all this time letting it, simmer. So then, as it warms up, you sip it or whatever the case is, like I ain't gonna put no ice in it or whatever, but it's starting to dissolve and everything. So you ever see like you sip it too slow and then all the flavors and the colors go all the way down to the bottom? Okay, so that's what a power bottom is. So a power bottom is the ones that can take it all the way down to those smallest measurements of liquid. And then so when the person is doing the power, the person that is taking it has those infused liquids like at the bottom of the cup of Kool-Aid, right? And it just comes out everywhere.
What the fuck? Marcus, what is this shit?
People call it wetting it or whatever the case is, or some people say, I cream, but it's really your prostate being ruptured.
All right.
So
yeah,
that's what a power bottom is.
Okay, yo, like, yo, Marcus Cage, what the hell did you say?
Marcus just wanted to make sure that no one ever drinks Kool-Aid again.
I was gonna say
Kool-Aid
for
is
real.
Kool-Aid is white devilry, so you should not partake in it, and that's just Marcus's way of ruining it for you.
I don't know, but somebody in the comment was saying, "Wait, that's not a power bottom." I still don't know what it is. No one, I don't even want to put it into a what you call it. What do you call the incognito chat?
No, you don't. No, you don't. So let me see if I can explain this. So do you know how? Okay, if you've got people on a baseball team, right? There's a pitcher and a catcher, right? This would
Okay.
be the most enthusiastic catcher to ever play the game. This is somebody who shows up early to
And
catch,
often,
stays late to catch, and if the whole team needs practice pitching for some odd reason, and all of the relief pitchers and then the pitching coaches, if they all need to take a turn, he's there to catch for them.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Real team
I
player,
learned.
very, very happy to play the position.
Got it. Got it. I didn't know about this. I heard it all the jokes all week. I heard from many, many shows and programs. They all got a joke about it, but nobody fully explained it. Everybody just joked about it. So I really didn't know. And I damn sure was not about to put that into my search. Hell no. I'd rather
Yeah.
just not know about it
Yeah.
than to have to look it up. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Because then you
Yeah.
don't know what Google gonna start sending you afterwards. You put some power bottom shit in your damn browser. So I don't
Oh,
need any suggestions about
just you
anything
saying
remotely
it out
hosted.
loud this many times is gonna change your Instagram real fucking algorithm.
I swear to God, I will show up to Hawaii and tell this motherfucker change his algorithm now, bitch.
I'm coming in the bunker, Zuck. We're gonna
Yes,
talk. I'm gonna drag you out this motherfucking bunker, and you're gonna fix this algorithm right now.
yeah, something. Yeah, you talk about Bunker Buster. Yeah, bitch, you gonna pay.
I'm gonna go find the shit that we've been giving to Israel.
Yeah, I
Fucking
don't. Yeah, seriously. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. So I just wanted to say, like, to people, just hold your horses. Whether you see a headline that you agree with or you see a headline that you disagree with, just hold your horses until you're able to discern whether it is true or not, one way or the other. I always tell people here, guard your emotions accordingly. Don't allow yourself to get too high, don't allow yourself to get too low. Because usually when you click these headlines, and if they're not hidden behind a paywall, if you do read it, in the middle of the article usually is what they are trying to tell you. And they usually admit some truth in the middle. They just know most of us are never going to get that far. Because
Yep.
look, you know
Yeah.
what? I've been looking at this for like 7 seconds on my screen now. It's been too long. I got to scroll to the next thing.
That's exactly. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. It's the people don't even read 80. 80% of the people don't even read past the fucking headline or the full headline. This is
Mm-hmm.
fucking no. Oh, no picture, no video. Oh, somebody's not pointing at a screen. I guess it's not news.
Mm-hmm. Also, did you speaking in terms of like since we're in Hollywood, stupid shit with Puff and TD Snakes and the rest of it. Did you see Taraji P Henson made the rounds this week too?
Yeah.
She was crying. The color purple's coming out.
Look, there was a writer's strike for a really long time. Man, these people just they didn't know what they were supposed to say or feel or think about anything. And so it seems like now there's okay, when Elon got Twitter and did the pay to play blue check thing, it
Yep.
allowed for any just absolute fucking nobody to go get on there and do hot takes from 2009 and all of the sudden get, from engagement
Yep.
farming start to come. So that's kind of the mindset that I think a lot of people have coming out of lockdown, especially in the entertainment industry after a bunch of fucking strikes, not being able to perform and shit like that for you. They don't they they don't know what to they don't their programming's off. So they see what's being what's trending, what's being promoted, and what that kind of behavior is getting rewarded. So I think people are like defaulting to internet speak nonsense, and they're trying to do the same clickbait engagement farming shit, but it's all that stupid now. Like, I understand this is what generating press about yourself is about, but we've just dumbed down to this level. I don't know. I don't
No, I think so. What Taraji P. Henson was saying was, obviously for her as a black woman, when it comes to salaries, she doesn't feel that she's getting paid the amount that she should get paid for the work she puts forth and the talent she has. There is legitimacy in that argument because we know who owns Hollywood, we know who owns these studios, etc. So that's one thing. That's the part that is legitimate. To me, all of these people coming out saying all of this, to me, it really just makes me think one thing in my brain: ownership and lack thereof. You know the
Okay.
system you're working with. You know the system you're working with. You know the people you're dealing with. You know the ones who have the checks, who cut the checks, and all the funny shit that they do and that they're involved in, etc., and how they dislike you generally. So many of them have made enough money that they could have at least put forth a studio, maybe even a chain of some small theaters somewhere, something to move off of Hollywood's court, field, what have you, arena, something. They've chosen time and time again to take the check. You're choosing to take the check every time instead of creating your own shit. So you're still working for somebody. If they want to pay you what they want to pay you and you agree to it, please don't come on TV crying about it, because you could have turned away from this stuff at any given moment, right? You could have made some money and did something else with your life, but you're still showing up in Hollywood. You are still participating in these movies and shit like that. But ain't none of y'all put no money together except for maybe recently Tyler Perry, and we know he's funny money anyway. And besides that, that was some other shit that came up anyway. But they have not decided. But let me just finish real quick. They haven't pooled their resources to create the networks, studios, distribution, and everything else, promotion and everything else, to make themselves successful without needing the Weinsteins and Miramaxes and that group of people and their businesses. They had every opportunity to do this. They have not done this over the course of 40, 50 years. I don't want to hear the crying anymore. Just do your job, negotiate better terms, or just don't do it.
They kind of I don't know, dude. They took Jamie Foxx away from the Wayans brothers, and
It's
everything that the Wayans brothers were trying to build back in the day kind of went away when Jamie did. But that's sort of the close. That and Def Jam are about the closest thing that you get with that. So,
yeah.
because
Uh-huh.
Spike Lee's a property. Spike Lee
Yes.
doesn't
And I'm
he
talking
doesn't
about
have any of his own ownership. A little
hmm
bit, maybe a little bit.
you know, it's kind of like we have that like we in our heads we have this thing like, oh, I want to be part of the cool club, right? And all the cool kids look like they're over there in Malibu and Los Angeles and all this shit like that. I want to be where they are. That looks fun. That looks cool. Da da da. But fine, they'll let you come in and party. They'll let you hang out. They'll put you on the cover of a magazine even. Then what they're not going to do is pay you a shit ton of money. And what did she say? I think she said she was only getting paid like 5 figures for Benjamin Button, the
Hmm.
movie with Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt made
Yeah.
10 million. And it's like, so you
Well,
chose to do that. You chose to do that job for the amount of money they gave you. Maybe you guys need to negotiate better. I don't know. But at
and
the end of the day,
everybody at the studio's gonna go, "Are you Brad Pitt?" Nobody's coming to see you. Then get the fuck out of my office. You're lucky we're paying you.
correct. So again, the only other way to do this, the only other way to do it so you don't complain and don't cry is to find a way to create ownership. Okay, you're taking a check, you're being an employee. Create ownership, and then at that point, you write your own checks.
So and as much as that is an ideal, there's also in what market, because it can't be Hollywood's market. Hollywood is Hollywood's market. So you have to
Yep.
create and you have to go find your market. And that's where most people, it's not that they fail, it's that they run out of resources because creating and finding and getting yourself into any sort of market is really fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Really hard.
It is. It is, and you know, as a black person, sometimes watching some of these things is very frustrating. I don't necessarily go into the God damn, you know, we victims. They always treating us like shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm more of the mindset like, why don't you have your own shit yet? Why are you relying and depending on people who clearly have shown a disdain for you? That's kind of like my argument with reparations too. I'm not against reparations, but a part of me watching the people calling for it, it don't look, it don't fit right in my soul, because I'm like, yo, you begging people who don't like you to like give you something that they not gonna come up off, and you're still at it. Mm, you know, it's frustrating to watch at times.
What's most frustrating about it is that that's the core of it. There's no reason to trust this entity to do anything other than what the pattern shows it's capable of doing, which is fucking you over, fucking me over,
Hmm.
fucking our neighbors over, and
Yep.
rewarding a very, very select group of individuals that don't themselves like each other and fight with each other all the time. And
Hmm.
we're fucking left out here largely brainwashed, exposed to fucking trauma induced mind control from birth. The vast majority of adults right now are incapable of handling more than 2 or 3 stresses at any given situation. They're also
Hmm.
fucked up and scrambled. How do
I'll have
you address, how the fuck do you address any of the past shit if you've got a whole bunch of brain dead, broken retards that are glued to the next distraction?
it.
It's, it's a fucked up, like, it's a fucked up situation. And then,
You know,
but the,
they're
like,
not even. people seem less versatile today than they were. Like, look, I was just joking around with Puff and the TD Jake shit, right? I'm getting my jokes off there, but at the same time, like, I did read all of the shit about the New York reparations bill. I read all that shit. I read through the Biden clemency and pardon. I think people just need to be a tad bit more versatile and like pay attention to some of the things that are less sexy. The things that are less sexy are actually the things that have the most effect. The things that are most sexy in any kind of way you want to use that word, usually that's the distraction.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's the we all know this shit. The news isn't the news, it's infotainment.
Yes.
We have to be entertaining to do what we do. You know what I mean? It's just that. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
No, I'm asking, do you have cable?
Oh no.
You don't. You just the internet connection, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I steal sporting events like a fucking American.
Oh, speaking of which, you seen those 2 fights today, or the highlights of them?
I haven't seen the kids' Christmas dominoes, shit like that.
I feel you. So I'm into boxing. I don't know if you're into boxing.
Yeah.
Deontay, look, Saudi Arabia stepped into boxing and they already like telling boxers, yo, here's the bag. You're going to fight on this day. You're going to fight on this day. And the boxers are complying. So that's making the American boxing associations look like shit. So they had Deontay Wilder fighting and Anthony Joshua fighting today. Not each other, but they had both of them fighting on the same card today. Deontay Wilder lost. He lost in unanimous decision, and Anthony Joshua gave the dude, his opponent, the business in 5 rounds via TKO. Joshua and Wilder are fighting on March 9th. So the Saudis came in there, like, they got shit popping. Like, we're all going to fight. So I think that I'm going to back the Saudis because I think they can save boxing, even as they fuck everything else up.
They've been and they've been talking with Dana White for years now too, and they've been studying how UFC has successfully promoted all of their shit heads and shoulders beyond and above what boxing is really has done since the mid 90s maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, the promotions in boxing used to be incredible.
It used to be.
And there was crossover with all kinds of other sporting events. And I mean, like, you couldn't, if there was a big fight coming up, dude, fucking Holyfield Tyson, okay? Before the 3 months before that fight, you couldn't hear about anything but it anywhere you went. It
Correct.
was
who's gonna win this fight? Everywhere. Yep. Everywhere.
And those guys were doing late night shows. They were doing fucking comedy shows. They were showing up on fucking TV Raps. They were showing up. Yeah, the fucking Emmys. They were fucking 106 in Park every other fucking day and shit like that. Dude, like it was nuts.
And now you can't, outside of Floyd. Look, Floyd Mayweather is still the most popular boxer in America. And he hasn't boxed since Andre Berto. That was his last professional fight, was Andre Berto. Everything else after Andre Berto was Conor McGregor and all of these exhibition fights.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and he's still the biggest boxer in the country. So that should tell you that the sport is like all kind of, the sport is all messed up. And I wanted to talk to you about Covington. I know that's not your boy, but your boy Covington, for the people who don't know, he had a fight last week. He's one of the MAGA fighters. Colby, his name is Colby. Dude, your name is Colby, and you talk mad shit.
Mad shit.
He talks, and the thing is, I don't know how he manages to talk so much shit while simultaneously never taking Trump's dick out his mouth.
Well, and
The
it's
way
a,
that,
I mean, it's a character. We talked about this a
yeah,
little bit, during the fight, because shout out to Wheezy and the What Is Truth podcast. We've been doing UFC commentary over there the last few
okay,
fights, and it's been a lot of fun, dude. It's been a lot of fun. Um,
okay,
and we were talking about this because if you go back to his earlier fights, even 2018, 20, like while Trump's president, he's not that dude.
okay,
And while he's not fighting, recovering from injury, he just develops this sort of MAGA persona because there's a hole for it.
yeah,
I think that what Dana White has soft played really, really well is the WWE hero heel arc
yeah,
with a lot of these guys. And Colby is just, he's that heel, and he's
yeah.
really,
He's like Shawn Michaels when he went
yeah,
DX, right?
yeah.
That's what he
And then
reminds me.
Makachev is one of those fighters too that's just happy to be the villain. There's a couple of like to
But
whatever, how he played it. Adesanya was like that.
the only thing I don't like though, it always and because wrestling didn't necessarily wrestling. I have to give Vince McMahon credit. He didn't make it racial. It was like bad guy, good guy. There was some racial things in there, right? But I'm just saying, DX wasn't like suck my dick, black people, right? It was just to everybody, suck it, right? Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen was like, yo, we'll beat your ass.
Yeah, I
Hulk
mean there
Hogan.
were there were some like the racism that was overt was the $1 million man Ted DiBiase and his slave
Having
manservant Virgil.
Virgil,
You know,
yes, and
uh,
Coco Beware,
Coco Beware. What? Who else? There was
KYD,
the fabulous Moolah was
yes,
the
Papa Shango,
Papa Shango, that's right. Yeah, I mean, even Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
oh,
Um,
yep,
and then Iron Sheik, obviously, you know.
yeah.
But they were such cartoons that
But they
like
were
you didn't
exactly.
take it seriously.
Exactly. With some of the stuff that I see, like Colby Covington doing, and even Connor to a certain degree, it just seemed like a little like below. It just seems like we not playing no more,
Well, Conor
right?
McGregor's a violent rapist, and he'll hit fucking 70-year-old dudes. So I mean, that guy's a
Yo,
piece of shit all around. Fuck him.
his story's no good. I mean, it's beyond like, okay, you had a bad drunk night. It's beyond like, yo, we had a bad argument, and or I got out of control. Nah, he's really on some next level, like fucked up. Conor McGregor, I'm talking about now.
And Disney owns him, and his soul belongs to the mouse. So his soul is protected, and his ass is protected as long as the mouse
Absolutely.
says so. But if they ever decide to throw him under the bus, I mean, shit, dude. He's got a sell by date on how long he's going to be making him money.
Mm-hmm. And you see, Marvel turned Kang into a member of the Fantastic Four, the Invisible Man.
Mm. Dude, so okay. So fucking they put Amber Heard, right? They put her back in movies. She's allowed in
In the
movies again.
yes,
That's the thing that's happening. And then what? Right at the same time, they're fucking they're telling dude to take a walk. Fucking Majors,
Look, as
Jonathan.
far as
It's
I'm
Jonathan Majors, right?
yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Jonathan Majors is a victim of the MCU success after the Endgame and the Thanos shit was so successful. Disney MCU didn't know what to do for all the movies after. After that Spider-Man movie where they had all three of them, the rest of everything they've put out has been mediocre at best.
Yeah.
Right? It's on the 1 to 10. Everything they've put out have been four or less, as far as I'm concerned. They haven't really put out anything really good. They tried with this Kang shit to get everybody excited, but the conversation that the employees are very much paying attention to is saying like, yo, this shit ain't really moving anything. I think Disney already was like, yo, we have to change course and do something different. This whole shit just happens to pop up for Majors. It's like, yo, it sucks we got to do it, but we need to really change direction anyway. Because look, he was found guilty at like 2:01. At 2:04 p.m., Disney was like, yo, you out of here. He didn't even leave the courtroom yet.
That's fucking. You're not wrong. You're not
They
wrong.
had to. And if you're a nerd, and I'm somewhat of a nerd, and I know about comics and I tend to follow certain shit, so I'm fully aware of all of the people who were like, yo, this Kang shit ain't really popping. It's not really doing nothing for me. I don't really know. But Disney was and Disney kept allowing the stories to come out like, oh, they're going to do away with Jonathan Majors. They're going to get away from him. Disney could have come out and say, yo, Jonathan Majors is our guy. We're not moving on. That's it.
Yeah.
They didn't say that. They allowed a lot of noise to populate the timeline. They did that. They could have easily made it quiet, but they allowed it to be noisy. So when this moment happened, and he was convicted on the 2 minor charges at that, shall we say. He was convicted for them being able to see him throw her in the truck. And that's what it was. Even though she was chasing him like Sonic chases rings. You understand?
Dang.
Even though she was chasing him. And again, that's just a situation. People have gone through this stuff in relationships. So I really don't want to delve and touch on that too much. But what I'm saying is like the way that they tried to do this was kind of crazy. And again, like I said, he was found guilty at 2:01, 2:04. Marvel had like some rinky, it wasn't even like Vanity Fair or one of these. They had some like blackspeaker.com red cup put out the thing that says Marvel's dropping Jonathan Majors. So they didn't even have the cojones or the huevos to be able to do it themselves. They let some like, D-list website put that shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, dude. It's really fucking silly. It is. It's very silly.
Hey.
I don't. So where do they go from here? What? Because their extended universe shit has got to be dead and buried at this point.
They don't know. They don't know what to do. All right, Janice, have a good one. I guess the only trump card they have left, no pun intended, the only trump card that Marvel has left is the X-Men. Because then that opens up a brand new world for them and a whole bunch of other possibilities. That is really the main thing they have.
Yeah, but it's all going to be like Wolverine had a kid and the kid's going to come out as gay and fucking... I don't know. The Beast is gonna, now that they kick Kelsey Grammer out, Beast is gonna be like, no, it's been a furry costume the whole time. I'm just hella strong. Power to the furries.
See, there we go. That's the problem, because they're going to get all these newer, younger people, not the comic book writers per se. They're going to get people who just write. They're going to bring them in, and they're going to tell them, hey, write this. And, it wouldn't be bad if, you had some representation.
They're gonna
You know
be
what that is?
Elliot Page is gonna direct everything. Only the Wachowski sisters can be involved in the projects.
Yeah.
Okay. The Wachowski sisters are now in charge of the extended X-Men universe.
Yo, and look, even though they fired the lady, the fact that Disney was willing to hire someone and give them a job, and she came out and said the X-Men is too masculine. We need to call them X people.
Yeah.
The fact that they were even on that type of time will show you what is coming down. It's going to be all of the things that we liked as young teenagers in terms of comic books and shit like that. They're going to take all of it away from us. All of it. All of our look. I will not be surprised that the next Spider-Man is like trans.
Right.
And that, Superman really had a crush on Bruce Wayne, not Lois Lane.
And Jimmy Olsen. And
yeah.
Superman was actually a minor attracted Kryptonian.
Yeah, he was Mac.
Yeah. All right, man. All right.
I'm telling you, so it's crazy. But again, people may see this stuff and they're like, well, it's just movies, it's just entertainment, da da da. You understand the reach of these companies like Marvel and Disney. This shit is very wide, kid.
Right. Lois Lane is like, no, Clark, I'm a strong, independent woman. And in fact, I like Lex Luthor. He has a really nice apartment. And I think I'm going to go ahead and spend time with him. I don't need to look. You're controlling and threatening, and I think you might be a narcissist.
And you're part of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lex is different. He listens to me.
Correct. Yeah. He's open.
Right, because there's no other females in the entire Superman universe. They're all dead, or they're fucking Aunt B or whatever. So it's just Lois. She's the only woman there.
It's crazy that you're a Superman. You can get action from a shit ton of women, and he's just stuck on this one who just happens to always falling off rooftops and shit. Why don't you find somebody with a little bit more balance?
A little bit more
one
balance.
Who doesn't play at the top on the roofs of buildings. First of all, what you doing on the roof of a building anyway? Because the only time we took girls to the roof of the building. Yeah. Look, the only time we took girls to the roof of the buildings for certain meetings, right? The fact that you keep falling off the roof of the building, what was you doing up there, Lois? You're always up there.
Right. And what, you just taking any old drink from any old body? You fall and lose your balance a lot. I would be more careful with who you take that cup from.
Seriously. So, but they're going to make everything kind of crazy. Like, yeah. They're going to make everything crazy. Streets, I see a comment. It's like, it's going to be wild, man. Yo, so any plans? We've been on like almost 2.5. So, you have any plans for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? What you doing with the kids?
Just hanging out. BML. I should have a 3D printer put together and test running and operational by then.
Oh shit! Nice.
dude. Yeah, I'm
Was
really
it
stoked.
expensive?
The particular model that I have isn't really expensive. It was a gift from one of the producers of AM Wake Up.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like I don't know, you can get them like 250 out the door, and it's a 1 foot by
Hmm.
1 foot square. But you can do a lot with that.
Yeah,
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 and the next size up, the like the jump up is kind of substantial, but you can do a bunch more with it. But like this is absolutely killer for me to learn on. My if I got a kid who's not quite a teenager yet, who already
yeah.
knows more about it than I do. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's fine. No,
So
it's
yeah,
good having them around. They may cause the gray, but they do keep you young here as well because you got to learn about shit.
absolutely. So we're gonna make a whole bunch of anime bobbleheads and shit like that. Fuck.
Hey, speaking of which, did you watch the Blue Eye Devil?
I haven't yet.
You should check it out if
I'm
you're into
bummed.
like Japanese
Yeah.
anime.
Yeah. No, it's on. It's on. I've got a whole fucking list.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
that actually turned out to be real good. Blue Eye Devil. Yeah. That turned out to be straight. I know we geeking out the people and all that other shit, but you know what? It's Christmas Eve. It's officially Christmas Eve, 12:24. Let us have our fun. 2 minutes past midnight. Are you going anywhere, Steve?
Not really, man. Not really. I've got a bunch of shit that I need to do. So
Mm-hmm.
it's but no, it's mostly I'm here with my kids and I'm just gonna do that. Fucking although fingers crossed going to be going to Anarchapulco in mid-February down at like the anarchist fucking I don't know Woodstock kind of thing. Um, but yeah, that's my big you know travel
Mm-hmm.
plan. So right at the moment.
Yeah, got it. I
Yeah, what
mean,
about you,
supposedly
man?
I'm
You
going to
getting out
Miami
anywhere?
tonight.
You getting out anywhere? You got to travel anywhere? I like not having to travel anywhere for the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is kind of travel for me, but I'm going to Miami. My usual thing, I'll go visit my family down there. So, I'll be in Miami for at least most of the day tomorrow. Fighting all this goddamn traffic. I'm telling you, the amount of people here from post COVID, and then now everybody who's here to see them and visit them and all this other shit. The other night I was looking at the traffic and I was like, yo, if this is what LA is like, this is crazy. It's so many people on the road here now. It's
Yeah.
really, you can really tell the difference pre-COVID and post-COVID. There is a huge difference now, a big time difference.
Yeah, no, I try to
So, I
stay.
mean,
Oh, I
we
try
only
to
have,
avoid. I didn't catch the end of that. I'm sorry.
no. Okay, you say you try to avoid.
Oh, major cities, holiday travel, all that shit, man. And my family's in a couple of different parts of Indiana, so it's not always easy to get out there. Plus, dude, you got to buy airfare for fucking the multiple children and shit.
You see them prices, kid? You see them prices, though, yo. Just two tickets round trip somewhere. You're like, wait a second. 3, 4? Yeah, y'all not going nowhere.
No, not at fucking. You could buy a used car for that. I mean, it
Yo,
wouldn't be a great car, but
three
you could buy a
tickets.
used
So
car for
three
fucking
tickets.
3-4 round trip tickets.
You can correct. Look, leaving from either Palm Beach or Fort Lauderdale to New York, usually those round trip. $800, $900, like 3 people. Like, yo, that's that's a couple months of a light bill.
Dude, going from either like San Francisco or even Sacramento or San Jose to Indianapolis,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as a direct flight. So
Oh
off
shit.
the bat, it's going to take 10, 11, 12 hours. You have to go into Chicago. That's a fucking nightmare in and of itself. And the cheapest round trip that I could find like a couple of months ago when I was looking, just for 3 of us,
Mhm.
it was going to wind up being close to $1,400 after everything was said and done. And I was like, fuck, dude,
And that's
that's
just the flight.
almost one
That's
that's almost 1 month of rent in California. Almost.
yeah. Yeah. And that doesn't include food, doesn't include anything you do for entertainment. That's just to get us there and back home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
Plus it's gonna
1400,
be you gotta just figure it's $100 at the airport if you're trying to eat or
oh, if
anything
you
like
just,
that.
oh no, you don't eat at the airport. No, 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 no. You know, Pacheco says Palm Beach is an expensive airport to fly to. Yeah, it just depends on where you're going. Like prior to COVID, they had like four or five flights a day. From most of the time when I leave, I'm going to New York, right? So Palm Beach had like 4 or 5 flights a day to and from New York. COVID limited that shit to like 2, 3 flights a day, not even. Fort Lauderdale is cheaper. It's further from me, but Fort Lauderdale Airport is a fucking mess, just like Miami is a fucking mess. You will spend 30 minutes moving between gates at Fort Lauderdale and Miami. So me, Palm Beach, this shit is nice. When people come here to Palm Beach, they be like, "Duck, there's no traffic here." I'm like, "No shit." There's nothing here. Oh, speaking of Palm Beach and flying and shit, my boy Trump, he's in town. I see his plane now every day, last several days. So he's he's back in town. I had me and my
All
son. We
right.
hadn't seen his plane for some time, but now I see his plane on the on. I see his plane at the airport almost every day now.
Well, I mean,
So
Christmas at
I don't know when
Mar-a-Lago, it's got
I
to
don't know
be
when he's
nice.
leaving
So,
again. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, he's here in town. I don't see the people on the bridge as much anymore, but they really love him. Yeah, this is a weird group of people that live down here. I'm telling you, Florida really does bring the weird people, and they do this shit, and then it'd be like Florida man does wild shit. Like what you call it? Snitch Nine, Takashi Snitch Nine lives down here, right? Donald Trump is here. Adrian Broner just moved here.
Jeff
OJ
Epstein
Simpson's
used
not.
to live there.
Epstein used to live here. OJ Simpson's nearby.
Mhm.
The group of people down here is kind of nuts, kid. It really is kind of nuts. So you just kind of
Yeah.
have to watch yourself. Anyway, well, look, we've been at it 2.5 hours. Marcus, I don't see you anywhere in the chat. I hope you take some medicine and get yourself together. Liz, you better be there taking care of my homie. If
Right.
not, just please make sure my name is on the paperwork if he has life insurance or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he promised me guns too.
Yeah, see, so he's got a bunch of requirements. So please,
Obligations. Yeah.
obligation. Thank you. Yeah, he's got a bunch of obligations. Liz, please make sure he gets that. Denver's
He
in the
would want
building.
those fulfilled. He's very adamant about that.
Correct. Oh, everybody on Rockfin, I didn't forget about you guys. I was just having an issue with Rockfin tonight, but thank y'all for chiming in. You normally do. Denver, I see you joined us here. He says, Steve, I heard today from a friend that lives in San Diego You can go to the airport right across the Mexican border and get a flight to Mexico City for $50. Oh, for
Yeah,
real?
and then it's about another 5 to well, anywhere from like $400 to $500 from Mexico City to Acapulco. You can also get a direct flight from TJ to Acapulco. And that's kind of what it's in the long run. It saves you about $200-300, which is really really nice in terms of being able to have a little bit of walking around money while you're down there. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm trying to work it out.
But it's not bad down there, right?
Well, it just got leveled by a totally not harp oriented hurricane. Like where
Oh
ground
shit.
zero was right up the like right in the middle of fucking Max Egan's backyard.
Oh
Um
shit.
and but I mean they're still having the event. People are rebuilding. It's open for tourism and shit like that. They're trying to make the best of it, but they just got their asses kicked like a month ago.
Mm. Damn. That's nuts. Thomas just said, can you imagine Chris grabbing a fishing pole, jumping on an airboat, hitting the swamps, getting his fishing on? Yo, I would do that. I just don't know anybody who got an airboat, and I don't know how to fish. So I went fishing like twice in life. I'm a city slicker. I don't know too much about fishing. After the last time I went fishing, I ended up in the hospital. I don't know what happened with the squid and the shrimp, but yeah, I broke out and ended up in the hospital. That was kind of crazy. They had to give me a bunch of steroids. Um, but I want to go somewhere. You know what? Maybe next winter I would love to go someplace where it's snowing a lot. I want to try skiing or snowboarding before my bones are too brittle and I'm too old to want to try it. But I
I,
know,
I would I would like to volunteer for any and all airboat and fishing action.
yeah. Steve, Steve, like, yeah, I'm with that shit.
Airboat, airboat.
If
Hell,
I was on the airboat, then it would probably be like I'm on a mission trying to like do some like Metal Gear Solid shit.
oh yeah, even if you're not, it's going through your head, dude. That's some fucking Burt Reynolds Gator shit. You just, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Yipper said, "Can I swim?" Yipper, I'm excellent in the water. I'm great. I'm not afraid of water. I'm always in the water actually. So yeah, that's one thing. We learned to swim. We're not afraid of water. Well, again, that would to my FBA and ADOS people that would further make me not like them. Because they would say you like the water, we don't. So you're not black enough for us. You know what I mean? But I just hope those guys, you show me
Right,
some mercy.
because nobody in Africa appreciated taking a dip in a fucking pool, lake, river, stream. No, no, for just centuries and centuries and
Never.
centuries. It was like, oh, hey, no thanks. Nope, got a bad feeling that eventually this is gonna get turned into some sort of like hose
Hmm.
thing, and it's going to get turned on our
Correct.
descendants. So we're just going to go ahead and avoid it early on.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't mind the water. The water is not a problem. I do jet skiing. I'll jump off cliffs and all that shit. I'm adventurous. You know what I mean? Me and my brother, we adventurous. My brother went skydiving, jumped off a plane. Only thing I'm like, damn, this motherfucker beat me to it. But other than that, we always been super like adventurous. We was riding bikes. We was jumping off like fucking fire escapes, trying to jump between buildings in New York City, right? So hey, ain't
Dude,
nothing scary.
I figured out really, really early that like there's just some stereotypes exist for a reason and some are just dumb. And
Oh
I
yeah.
had I had as many white kid friends that didn't like swimming or weren't really good at it or flat out sucked at it as I did black friends that weren't really into it. And I had as many that were fucking as good or better, fucking than it's just what the fuck. It's kind of a personal thing or how you feel about it, I don't
Mhm.
like I could, I can swim and shit, but I wasn't like great at it or anything. I wasn't fucking
Yeah.
like show off on a dive. I'll get on a jet ski or something like that, but like I'd rather be fishing off of a boat or driving it.
Oh, so you haven't been on a jet ski?
Oh yeah, no, I have been
Oh,
for sure,
oh,
for
okay.
sure. It's just not like it's never a priority. I'd rather drive a
Correct.
boat than a jet ski. I'd rather fish
Got
off the boat than get stuck, having to drive
Mm-hmm.
it. But
No, correct. No, I feel you, man. All right, well, that pretty much does it. Today is
okay,
Saturday. Well, now it's Sunday, December 24th. It's about 12:15 a.m. Um, I just want to thank everybody for coming through, participating in the chat. Again, to our Rockfin family, thank you. We appreciate you guys coming through. Of course, everyone, please thank Steve for joining me tonight. Otherwise, you would have been stuck with me for all night. I know that could have been bad, but Steve, of course, I really appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you, dog.
heck
I
yeah,
really
man.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Marcus, get your ass, get your shit together, bro. Stop hanging. Marcus, what was you doing that got you sick? I wonder who you was hanging out with, Marcus.
Hmm.
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 What's his name? Because I know Liz wouldn't let me her. Marcus, I'm messing with you, man. But anyway, everybody, if you celebrate, Merry Christmas to you. If you don't celebrate it, just enjoy the day off. Probably try. Hopefully, you go get some food. Hopefully, you watch some Christmas basketball. There's a lot of good basketball on. I'm a basketball fan, so Christmas Day I'll most likely be watching at least some of the NBA games. But this is the Political Matrix. I'm Cy Lawson. Shout out to Marcus Cage, and here we have Steve at the Steve from AM Wake Up. Steve, did you want to drop any? You want to let people know where you are, when you can be on, where you
Oh,
are on the times, etc.
oh, sure. amwakeupshow.com for pretty much everything. I'm gonna do some sort of orphan Christmas thing. 'Cause we usually do one every year. Um, but I'm not sure if that's gonna be tomorrow or actual Monday. Other than that, AM wake ups Monday through Thursday with me and Chris Yannick, and then Friday the New Prisoners podcast does their thing. Freeworld.fm every Friday 10 a.m. Pacific to 1 in the afternoon. I do the White Phillip show, which is a whole lot of fucking fun. And Blunt Force Wisdom with my friends Sugar and Teal, usually on Mondays, but Monday's Christmas, so I don't know about that. I think that's it, but I'm not sure. I got a slow news day, but yeah, stuff.
Steve, I wanted to ask you one thing. Doesn't it, as somebody who produces content, you do shows, you guest host, you're a guest, etc. Don't you like it better when you can have more range over the topics you cover, as opposed to just sticking with one or two serious things?
Um, yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm very rarely in a situation where it's like that. You know what I mean? The club. Well, okay, so I do the Critical Hour with Garland
Mhm.
Nixon and Dr. Wilmer Leon. And
Okay.
and those are like 15-minute, 14-minute radio hits. And then
Okay.
on Friday, it's like a 30-minute panel. And it's, you know, Garland, Wilmer, me, and usually a guy named Dr. Jim Kavanaugh. So it's 3, 4, or 6 or 7 topics packed within, you know, 15 to 30 minutes. And
Hmm.
and even with that, like, I'll still turn it into a joke.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
So
I feel, and the only reason why I asked is because, you know, a lot of the time you do want to talk about things that do matter, and you know, people sometimes it does involve life and death, and it's not funny, right? But at the end of the day, you need humor, you really do. If
I
not, you
mean,
know, you're gonna be uptight
it
all the time.
yeah, AM wake up's 3 hours. We talk about a lot of heavy shit there. We jump around with a lot of different subjects, and we try to make it funny.
Mhm.
Because otherwise it would just be kind of us fucking screaming.
Yeah. No, I was watching you guys. You had Tease or Teach?
Tease.
Tease, yeah. You had Tease and you had somebody else on. I want to say it was Thursday or it was either Wednesday or Thursday. I was like watching, I was commenting in between, like typing away on a fucking keyboard. But yeah. No, I was listening
Well,
to you guys.
Nico was on this Wednesday.
Yes, that day, but I ironically enough, I had to get off right before Nico came, but I listened to everything up until he came on. But you guys are doing good. I was laughing anyway.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you, and I did. It was fun as shit. I'm not glad Marcus was sick, but you know, this is rad.
Yeah, Marcus. Marcus, don't get sick too often. But you know, Marcus is the type, like he's probably like, man, I could have probably did it. I could have probably showed up, but
Mhm.
you know, I'll just let them rock. But you know, next week he's gonna go. Marcus gonna be like, yo, can you do 5 hours next Saturday?
That's funny.
I
That's
know. But
funny.
anyway, guys,
All
look,
right.
y'all have a good one. Enjoy, eat well, be well, enjoy your family and all that shit. Steve, thank you. And this is the Political Matrix. I'm Cy Lawson. We out of here. Blessings to everybody. Peace.
Heck yeah.